Okay, fantastic. And Kylan is back here with us. Hello and welcome back. So no pressure at all. We'll just restart the clock when we're ready with the audio, and then we can have the full presentation still. One of the beauties of virtual conferencing is that you can just restart and have another go.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
Fantastic.
okay. Let me try and share it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Don't worry at all, and please don't worry. We'll just restart the clock. We'll restart the presentation from the beginning. So just take your time. There's no worry at all. You've done a fantastic job getting back in here, and I'm sure Thomas appreciates that just as much as I do.
Well, the joys of technology, right? It works until you need it to.
It happens. Okay.
Well, we can hear you loud and clear now. Everybody in the chat is very happy. So if I could just get you all to give a thumbs up and a round of applause for our very steady presenters here who are going to restart their presentation now. So Kylan, over to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I'm not going to introduce ourselves again. Let's just get started with the slides.
Yeah.
So Harvard is actually a global connected university. We have three main campuses in total: Dubai, Edinburgh, and also Malaysia. Thomas is based in Edinburgh, and I'm based in Malaysia. So one important consideration for us when we design a subject is actually the global connected. We need to ensure the teaching teams work together in every aspect of the design of the course, assessment, materials, and so on. So the course that we taught last year was linear algebra. It's a core mathematical subject where students from mathematics or stats and actual science degree, they will need to take this course. One special setting for Harvard is that our Malaysia first year is actually Edinburgh's second year in some sense. So for this academic year, we have a total number of 300 students across all three campuses. So it's quite a huge number. The pandemic actually struck us hard during the beginning of 2020, where we could barely move around due to some restriction. And with this, Harvard has created something called the Responsive Blended Learning Framework. This was actually motivated by the flipped classroom approach, where students were expected to do some independent studies, watching some videos and so on, before joining live sessions to discuss further on concepts. So each course is basically structured in terms of weekly module. And you can see in my slide, this is what happens in our subject. We have some objectives that the student needs to fulfill. We have videos for them to watch, followed by readings and exercise to try. So based on experience, the main challenges of a blended learning approach is indeed students' engagement, especially for online students. So that time, some of our students will still facing some isolation issues, and the degree of isolation could actually be different, depends on the location. For example, in Malaysia, our students actually started in a fully online mode and with a slow transition to having some face-to-face opportunities. So being a global university, Harvard, one highlight of studying at here is also the opportunity to study abroad in other campuses. But all this was forced to put to the halt due to travel restrictions and so on. So we actually wish to enable our students to interact with people from different cultures. That's why we came out with a solution of community buildings in our subjects. Right, so I want to be more precise on what we mean by a community of learners. The main reasons we want to build community of learners is our subject, which to a certain extent is actually to tackle the isolation issues, provide students to have a taste of interacting with people, especially those from different cultures. So in some sense, it's like a virtual version of study abroad. Of course, ultimately, it would be very good if we have the cohort with a mutual goal of passing the subjects. And this framework should also align with our own direction of development in our learning and teachings. So we both are very experimental. We explore a lot of teaching approaches when we collaborate. We wish to focus more on student-centered approach. In fact, we actually aim higher. We wish to achieve something we call a student-led initiative to make student as the center of creating contents and also design to enhance the learning experience of the cohort. And yeah, as academic, let's admit our workload actually involve a lot of stuff, right? Comprises teaching, research, and also administrative role. So sometimes it's quite crucial for us to plan and work intelligently and smartly so that our approach are sustainable. And it would be very fantastic if the things that we plan in, let's say, this academic year will work out and be sustained in the future years. Right. So all this leads to my proposal of forming a project committee in implementing senior leading junior elements in the cohort. So what we mean by community here is we want the students to feel that they belong to a larger community with a mutual academic goal in our subject, which is to pass it. So introducing LAPC, often being misregarded as LAPD. So we actually recruited a cross-campus committee comprises 4 students who took the subject last year. So all 4 students that you see in the picture, they took the subject in algebra in last academic year. So Miracle will be with us today in some form, but the other 3 unfortunately will not be able to join us. These 4 students actually, they are the leaders. They design content, lead student-centered initiative to enhance the cohort learning experience in our subjects. So what's so special about these students? During recruitment, we're actually looking for those who actually engage well with us during the past moments and not necessarily having a strong academic background. So we're actually finding people who are proactive and also engage with us. And this is a good point that I want to bring Tom in. Perhaps Thomas can tell us a bit on what is your first thought when you heard about these ideas of building community in the subject.
So Kylie and I have been working for a couple of years now. So when Kylie first came to me about saying, "Hey, Tom, we should put this group together," my first thought was that I loved it. I think it's a great idea because as academics, as teachers, we've all been there where we've told students, you should do X, Y, and Z to do well in this course, and the students completely ignore us. And when their peers tell them the exact same message, they listen to their peers. So now, having this group, we have this buffer where these project committees will tell the students what we want to tell them in a way that the students will listen. So I was on board with this idea. The details, as Kylie mentioned, is going to be how we execute it and how we make it sustainable. And I'll pass over to Kylie to say a little bit more about how he accomplishes that.
Okay, cool. But first, I want to introduce the initiative that we did. We actually did several initiatives together with the committee, from planning to execution. And one of them, which I really like the most, is a series of digital videos co-created with students called Underperform in Algebra, as the title of this slide. So what we did here is that we create a series of 10 videos. Those are tongue-in-cheek, quickly shorts. And for each video, we start our students. The student can either be a past student, for example, a member of the committee, or a present student from the current cohort. So these students are from our global community. They are talking about sharing a way to how to fill our subjects, along with the rationale behind. So we actually choose the word underperform with some detailed consideration, because I know some students, they might feel like if they get marks like 60 or 70, this is considered bad for them. So underperform is somehow relative. So a series of 10 videos. The first 4 was actually recorded by the seniors, and the remaining were contributed by the present students. All this with guidance by the committee and also both of us. I would like to play one of the video. This is the first video recorded by one of the committee member, Miracle. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Miracle and I completed linear algebra a year ago. Having completed the course, I have been through a lot and made even more mistakes. Want to be like me? Well, this is how you underperform in linear algebra. When you come across a new definition or theorem, forget about thinking of examples on your own and sit back and wait for Tom or Kylie to give you one. Easy. What's wrong with this, you ask? When you think of examples of your own, it forces you to consider the theorem or definition carefully. You ask yourself, why does this equation satisfy this definition? Or why didn't it satisfy this definition? Your understanding will improve and you will start to think critically. Of course, don't spend too long on it and reach out to your peers, the discussion boards, or even Tom or Kylie if you need more clarification. Let's practice what we preach and actually do an example. I'm sure by now you'd be familiar with homogeneous consistent equations. So let's test ourselves by thinking of a homogeneous equation with infinite solutions. Here is my example. If you notice, this equation is also consistent. Okay, let's think of a counterexample as well. What about an inhomogeneous equation with no solutions? Here is my example. Some thoughts you can ask yourself. What is the pattern behind all this? Are all inhomogeneous equations inconsistent? Or are homogeneous equations consistent? Can I think of an example to convince myself or to disprove this? Well, I hope this quick tip works miracles for you. And who knows, it may even appear in your quizzes or your assignments. Want to know more ways you can underperform in linear algebra? Tune in to the next video. Bye!
I always impressed whenever I watch this video. So you might ask how this video actually helps building community. Among the 10 videos, the first 4 actually recorded by the seniors, mostly the committee members, and followed by 6 videos by the juniors. So here we can see the senior learning junior element being implemented, while the committee actually play an important role to initiate the element of building community, right? Having the community to support students who are not academic confident. So some students, they might not be confident to record the video, especially with content where they are still learning. So the committee is here to provide guidance in terms of content and also some techniques, some supplementary techniques in terms of the recordings. This demonstrates the value of inclusivity in our learning communities. So some of those videos, I actually use it as a supplementary content in my live sessions. What I did is actually, I play some of them during my sessions, and the concepts that is discussed in the video actually can be directly applied into the tutorial questions that I want to discuss later. And this often helps students to clarify confusions. The amazing things that I felt is that this actually create a feeling that the student in the video actually is guiding their peers in attempting the tutorial questions or solving some difficult questions, right? So the impact of the videos in building community, from a social context is also when students actually see their peers featured in the videos. And when the video is played during live classes, their peers actually felt super excited and amazed. And I view this as a very opportunities for peers to acknowledge and also show appreciation of the students' contribution to the learning community by starring in the videos. So the next thing that we can discuss upon is although the initiative is great and the outcome is appreciated by the students, we actually face a few challenges. I will let Marika to talk through these slides because she was the person really in charge of recording the videos. So, please.
The challenges of being a committee member were the things that I mentioned as a soft skill and a technical skill. So one of it was being in the committee. We operated on different time zones. So some of us were in UK, some of us were in Malaysia. And finding that middle ground of a good timing to have our meetings, to have our interviews or our round tables. So that was a bit of work. And I think another challenge would be getting content for the underperforming in linear algebra video. First of all, it was difficult enough to find students who are willing to get on a camera and speak and also maybe entertain. So that took some effort, but that was easily solved once we kind of get students to start recommending their friends, and there's like a little small network pool. The other difficulty was that a lot of students, they are naturally learning the topic for the first time, and they could feel insecure at what they're learning. And when we approach them, they would say, I'm already behind, or I did bad for my so-and-so assignment, and I don't think I'm fit to teach my cohort. And us as the committee member, we have the experience of going through the whole subject from start to end as a senior student. So it was really finding that middle ground of what I learned and what you're learning, and how can we come together to make a video that is beneficial to the past you, but also to the past me and to our cohort.
Okay, so for myself, one of the challenges that I face is actually the partnership with students. So we really need to ensure them to be able to communicate with us in a comfortable manner, especially when they are also students, right? They will have their own workload, study workload. They will still be busy when the semester end is closed. They have assignment to deal with. We need to ensure the workload is manageable. And it is totally acceptable if they are 1 week or two, they are not able to commit too much in our initiative. So I just want to talk through quickly about the impact of the projects. I would say the co-creation element in this project mainly revolve around a few numbers of active students from the cohort. But this is actually a key milestone to achieve a whole class approach of co-creations in learning and teaching, which is essential for forming community of learners. Together with other initiatives that we did, for example, the roundtable and also a reflection sessions, did all this add together add benefits to the communities. So one of the good things of this is actually all the things that we make actually cultivate collaborative engagement in the subsequent formal course activities. We can actually see the increase in the discussion board participation rate, for example, because this senior is sort of like the role model of them, and they realize they can actually take a more leading role in terms of supporting others. The discussion board rate from both campuses is pretty good. We can see students from each campuses supported each other also. Altogether, this created a community with shared academic goal, which is to pass a subject. And also, I received quite a few feedbacks from the social context. Some of them, they say it is very good to know that they are not alone facing the challenge, because linear algebra is actually a very difficult course in terms of being abstract and require some strong mathematical proof. So realizing others are also facing a similar difficulties actually somehow provided support for them and make them to feel less stress or more relief. Right. This video is about the impact that the initiative has on Miracle. I will play this video.
The benefits of joining the committee include meeting people who are like-minded, because people who said yes to being a committee are most probably like me, who are also interested in the student community, that they have something to offer, and that they have learned so much from Kailin and Tom, and that we want to give back. So being able to connect with similar people and making that network is very valuable to me. And on top of just the committee members and of course working with the lecturers, we also get the opportunity to work with our juniors and get to know them. And I personally find a lot of fulfillment from that, especially in COVID times where it was harder to have orientation or meet your senior kind of activities. And lastly, I think from my term as a committee member, I learned a lot of soft skills and technical skills. Soft skills being able to work in completely different time zones, communicating my ideas and working with the juniors as well, sharing to them a topic that was new to them in linear algebra, but which I had already gone, and hard skills such as video editing. And in the end, I edited most of the underperforming in linear algebra videos, and in the end, I learned that I liked editing, I like creating content. So that was an added value for me as a committee member.
The community actually plays a very important role to ensure the videos are informative and also being fun at the same time. Yeah, this is my last slide about our future plans. We are actually going to start our next academic year on next week. Yeah, haven't fully enjoyed my holiday yet. So what's next? We actually plan to recruit next round of students committee. In fact, they are already been recruited. This is also the strength of having a committee to keep things sustainable, so that the previous member can pass down the guidance to the next member. We also think of expanding this idea of having a student committee supporting a course into a cohort level. So we wish to build community for coherent learning experience as a cohort, so that a single committee that lecturers from different subjects can actually utilize them to do some student-led initiative in their own subjects also. Right. And we are now moving far from COVID already. And with government restriction already lifting, we can actually looking forward to return to campus-based teaching. What we can do is we actually have plans to involve more students to take an active role in formal and even summative teaching activities. So supporting by next year committee. One thing which we are going to do from next week, I'm quite excited, is to have a global sessions that includes Malaysia, Dubai, and also Edinburgh students. And we will have the committee member to do something with us during the global sessions hours. So this will be the end of my presentation. Just to check with Tom, do you have anything to add to the presentation?
Hey, Tom, you just need to unmute quickly.
There we go, technology. So I did notice a question in the chat, which unfortunately I've got to sign in, so I couldn't comment, about having students in the committee. So the membership of our committee consisted of students from the previous iteration of the subject, and I think it was by design that we did not include students of the current iteration in the committee. I mean, it's to ensure that the current students can focus on learning the material, and we kind of brought them in and supported them when we kind of wanted their participation. It's a fine balancing act, because we obviously want students really engaged and students as part of the design and co-creation, but we have to realize ultimately that they are students and their primary kind of concern should be doing well in this subject. That said, I mean, this initiative that Kailin has taken on has been sustainable, because we actually have a new teaching member in our little linear algebra team, and when she saw our video, she was like, this is fantastic. You know, I don't actually have to create, you know, my own content again. So we are kind of using the same content that we had a year ago, 2 years ago, and they're still effective learning tools. So this year, when we're going ahead, we can think about what else we can add on, how we can make things better, rather than having to think about, oh my God, how we're going to lecture, how we're going to deliver content again. So the project is definitely, you know, like reaping benefits now after a year, after 2 years of it like being commencing. So massive thanks to Kylan for kicking this off. And that's all from me, Kylan.
Thank you,
Yeah, and
Thomas.
so, yeah.
We had a really nice comment in the chat as well from Anna, who said, really interesting. Thank you for sharing this with us. It's made Anna think about ways to support this type of approach with the lecturers she's working with. So I think you've really inspired your audience here today. And thank you so much also for persevering after the initial difficulties. We are now at the end of our time here today, but thank you all for joining the session at the annual conference. And a special thanks to our presenters. So please put your virtual hands together in the chat and give a warm round of applause to Thomas and Kai, our presenters here today. So both of you, thank you so much. It's been really fantastic, and do please carry on the conversations in the chat. Thanks again, everybody.